Welcome to the MWR Financial Make Wealth Real University. My name is Darrell R. Banks, two-star executive director and founding member of MWR Financial, and your host of our weekly corporate event, where you get to hear from the experts and invited professionals to give you the education you need to succeed to get on the other side of money. Please take these last few moments to get your members on the platform and your team so they can hear and see the true value of such a membership offered from the Ultimate Cash Flow Company. All guests, please get back to the person who invited you to this platform. I tell you what, guys, we are excited about this information that you're going to hear about tonight, because you know what? Stuff is not being taught in any institution. And you just do not understand the wealth of knowledge that you get for just being on this platform. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the good news of MWR Financial. And every time we go live, you'll be notified that we are going live. We also want you to be a part of our official new Make Wealth Real LinkedIn page. Please be sure to go and follow us today. We want this page to blow out of proportional levels. So certainly get yourself on this platform here to share the good news yet again of what the Ultimate Cash Flow Company is doing. Listen, folks, we're less than 16 days away from the event of the year, our 2023 celebration of Champions National Convention in Las Vegas. You've got to be there August 12th and 13th. Be sure, if you have not registered, go to makewealthrealevents.com, makewealthrealevents.com, and get registered. You need to be at this event. I tell you what, we're going to see a whole lot of happiness going on across this country with this one event of a lifetime. Get yourself registered, makewealthrealevents.com. Guys, the information we're going to talk about tonight, grab yourself a pen and a pad to take copious notes on what's going to be delivered. Let's go ahead and see who we have out there in the nation today. We got Mr. Dale Pernell out of Durham, North Carolina. Welcome. We got Chicago in the house. Mr. Jerome Bell, welcome. Tallahassee, Florida in the house. Welcome. Tampa, Florida, welcome to the platform. We got Denver, Colorado. Welcome to the platform. Henrietta, New York. Welcome to the platform. White Plains, Lewisburg, Virginia. Welcome to the platform. Washington, D.C. Welcome to the platform. Gary, Indiana. Welcome to the platform. Conyers, Georgia. Welcome to the platform. Newton, North Carolina. Welcome to the platform. Oklahoma. Welcome to the platform. Surprise, Arizona. Welcome to the platform. New Jersey, my hometown. Welcome to the platform. California, welcome to the platform. Maryland, welcome to the platform. South Carolina, welcome to the platform. Atlanta, Georgia, welcome to the platform. Killeen, Texas, welcome to the platform. Goldsboro, North Carolina, welcome to the platform. Hershey Gibbs out of Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, welcome to the platform. Guys, hey, listen, if I have not said already, my name is Darrell R. Banks, two-star executive director and founding member of this amazing company. But hey, it's not about me. Let's go ahead and get to the information at hand. This gentleman brings more than a decade of success in the financial services industry. He is a licensed consultant and of the investments of our Make Wealth Real Multiply Cash Flow division. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the platform our lead expert, Mr. Cord Burner. Mr. Burner, you there? The mic is muted.
Can you hear me now?
Man, we can hear you. We can see you. The platform is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. You always come with not only the professional spirit, but you deliver with energy. So I appreciate it. And obviously, I can't wait to see you out in Vegas and many others. And maybe we'll try our hand at blackjack or whatever we need to and leave with a little bit more than we came with. But ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about land banking today. And this is literally one of my favorite conversations, because not only am I a participant, but I get to be one of the lead experts on this subject. And it's something to where, you know, it's not really a typical conversation around the dinner table. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I grew up in one of the most southern parts of Utah, to where we grew up as farmers, right? My dad, he was a mechanic by trade. My grandfather was a farmer. And even though he owned lots of land, he never talked about how to get more of it, or the ways to get it, right? It was actually, he ended up renting a lot of that land to somebody, from somebody else, which was interesting. And land banking, it's often referred to as an alternative investment. And that's kind of always interesting to me. What is an alternative investment? That means it's outside the norm. And who is it outside the norm for? Is it everyday working Americans? Probably, yeah, because most people don't have the financial wherewithal to buy it. But who is it the norm for? It's wealthy individuals, people that have, incredibly deep pockets, that have been buying up land for generations. Wasn't land here before us? Right? Wasn't it the first true investment? Haven't people fought and died for land for generations? I mean, think about even back to the cave days, right? That was kind of your investment. It was like, hey, this is my rock. Come and get it. This is where, we're making it as a family. But guys, before we jump into land banking, I want to talk about some current economics and just what's been happening in the world, because it's really interesting. There's two schools of thoughts that have really been going on. And one side of it is talking about how, our currency, the dollar, is just, it's going to be debased and not worth anything. And, the petrodollar is failing, and, it's really doom and gloom. And then you've got the other side that's kind of turning a blind eye to what's been happening economically. And they're like, well, the dollar is not as inflated as it was, severely as it was 12 months ago. So things are getting better. And it's like, well, I guess kind of. But how much better is it getting? So today's topic isn't about doom and gloom. It's all about preparation. And for my military friends, you're going to love this, because we're talking about adapting and overcoming. Because what happens when you're prepared for something? Doesn't it open up options, even if what happens isn't really favorable in some sense? It's like, well, I've kind of put my position, I put myself in a position to where I've opened my abilities up to multiple different avenues or different ways that I can adapt and overcome. Well, when you're reactive, what happens? That it typically means that you've got different choices that have been removed from the table, and you've only got a set amount of ways that you can go. And it's like, well, I guess I'm going to go this direction because that's all that's available in front of me. Well, again, what we do here at MWR Financial is what we adapt and overcome. Preparation meeting opportunity is what really creates financial success. We got to get financially healthy before we get financially wealthy. And who are we as a company? We are cash flow creating machine, aren't we? And that's why middle America needs us, because most people, they are drowning in debt, not because they want to. It's because they've got a mindset of that's what you simply do as an American. That's, my father, he lived on credit card debt as well. And I love him. He is my hero, but he was not he really didn't have a wealthy lifestyle. So eventually I met a mentor that knew more about money than my parents did. And he taught me a lot of these ideas that I'm going to share with you today. And that's where, I think about if my dad, the guy that had the biggest heart in the world, had he have only understood money and that it was really a game, right? And if he would have found out where he needed to be placed in the game, or at least take advantage of the rule sets in front of him, I think we would have lived a little bit differently. We wouldn't have been in those double wide trailers, right? We would have had a different home life. And I'll tell you what, though, I mean, we did have two parents in the home. We were incredibly blessed. We had a lot of love to give in that home, and that's something to be said for them. But guys, when we're talking about economics, we're specifically going to discuss land banking. And it's an asset class that most people are unfamiliar with, which really just blows my mind, because it depends on the dinner tables that you sit at. Most wealthy individuals, they own real estate. And if they didn't create their wealth through real estate, they now maintain that wealth through what? Real estate, because it's tangible. It's an asset class that you can hold on to. Our mantra here is all about using cash to create assets, right? To create cash flow. And real estate is a very big part of that. So as I bring up this slide and we start to talk about where land banking fits well, I want you guys to know that, here, let me share the screen here. I don't think I did it correct here. Can you guys see the screen? Is it coming in? All right, let me just get this technical side here. All right, we're good to go. So land banking, it's used for true asset diversification. Now, what does diversification mean? It means not having your eggs all in one basket. It's very simple, isn't it? But where do most Americans have their money?
Cord, I hate to interrupt you. We don't have the screen up. I see in the backstage your email. So let's select a different.
Oh, sorry, friends. Let me
No problem. I
fix
didn't
this
bring
real
it to screen. You're good. There you go. You also have some
There we go.
excited
Look at
viewers that are asking you how the little bundle of joy is doing as well.
Perfect. Yeah, the baby is doing amazing. God, man, you guys are warming my heart today. A lot of you. We'll talk about the baby here at a later time, but guys, she's thriving. She is absolutely thriving. And today, again, the topic is land banking, so we'll jump to it. But we were talking about diversification and what that actually means, right? So diversification is making sure that you don't have your assets all in one basket. Because what happens when you have all of your eggs in one basket and it doesn't perform or you drop the basket? Well, everything breaks and it doesn't operate the way that you want it to. Well, where do most Americans, where does the working middle America typically have their money? Inside of a 401k. And believe me, I love a 401k when it's done properly. Typically, when we sit down with somebody, though, they've got about 90% of their net worth inside of a 401k. What do you think you should have? Well, we believe that you should have at least 25 to 30% of your net worth in something tangible. And land is a great asset. And, you know, I love this quote here by Mr. Will Rogers. He talks about don't wait to buy land and wait. Land banking, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. It's buying land before it's needed for development, then holding it for about 7 to 10 years and simply selling it for more than you bought it for. Major companies and investors have been building wealth this way for centuries, and we can now do it with as little as $40,000 or more in cash or existing investments. Why do most people not have or own land? Because, well, they don't typically have the assets required to buy an entire parcel. Well, using this process, you now have the ability to be a partial owner inside of this of land banking, right? You can have multiple people be a partner inside of your purchase. Now, where are we doing this? That's where this conversation becomes critical. It's not in the middle of swampland, USA, right? It's a very targeted area. And our area that we're discussing today is here on the screen. This is a 60-mile radius around Los Angeles. It is the world's 15th largest economy, second in the US, only to the state of New York. And it's considered a megapolis. That's a $10 word, isn't it? It comprises over 50% of Californians' total population. That's close to 20 million people. They're expecting 2 million more people to come over the next decade. So let's put this in perspective. You can notice that a third of this is in what? The 60-mile radius is in water, right? So we know that people aren't living there. So we've got more people living in this area than the state of Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, Idaho, Utah, Montana, Wyoming, and New Mexico combined. Right, that is a mouthful. So where are these people going? Have you ever looked at the median income housing price in this area? It's well north. It used to be $700,000. Well, now in the last couple of years, it's north of $850,000. So for growing families, for new families, is that necessarily affordable? No, right? I mean, look at where rates are today. They're north of 7 and 8%, depending on who you're getting your loan from. So $850,000 with a 6.5 to 7 to 8% mortgage rate on that. That really makes the American dream not available for most people. And that's what's incentivizing a lot of people to go into the Lancaster and Palmdale area. I mean, pair that with what's been happening over the last couple of years. I mean, if there is a silver lining about, in regards to COVID, it's that telecommuting came about. Before, companies said, hey, no, you got to sit at your desk inside of my commercial building so that I can monitor and manage you at every turn. Well, they realized to be able to continue to conduct business, they had to telecommute, and they realized how efficient it can be. Right? It isn't perfect right now, but what telecommuting means is that these individuals can live in more affordable areas. They can have gorgeous homes that were built recently versus, buying homes that were built in the 1970s that are dilapidated and overpriced. They can live directly in this area. Now, when we look at this area, it also has to be supported by infrastructure, companies. And one of the amazing companies and corporations that are here is our Kaiser Permanente facility. Now, why do I choose to share this? Number one, it's a gorgeous facility. It's an architect's wonder. You can see represented by this waving glass. It's kind of like this textured glass here on the front of the building. What this is designed to do is refract natural energy and help light the facility. Now, they've also got an energy reclamation system that's designed to take all this natural wind energy that comes through here, harness it, and they use it to power the facility. So as a company, if you have to take less resources and use it to power the facility, that means you can use those dollars to be innovative. And the more innovative you are, the more attractive you become. And that's where you start to see these high-paying jobs and very specialized skills and highly compensated and really special individuals that are moving to this area because of this innovative approach. You've also got a courthouse that was built here. It's already been erected for a number of years. They've got a second one there as well that was recently erected to the tune of $234 million a building. Right. So what does that tell us from an infrastructure point of view? Well, they know a little bit more than the rest of us. They know that based on where the population's coming from, naturally, they're going to progress out here. Now, you've also got Walmart as an indicator. I mean, think of that business model. Everybody wants to be them because they have and they know their service. They know how to serve the people that are there. They know what it takes to make a Walmart successful. And to be honest, in my almost 36 years on this earth, I've never seen one Walmart close its doors. They're very successful at what they do. And because they've got a gigantic research and development team, they know what it takes for that store to be and have success. Guys, an average Walmart is designed to accommodate the shopping needs of 250,000 neighboring residents. They have five in this area. They have 5 in this area. So that means they know something that we don't know, right? They're willing to take millions and millions of their own dollars, open up these facilities to serve the incoming population. If Walmart were ranked as an economy, they'd be 19. So you've got Ashley Furniture, you've got BevMo, you've got Target, a lot of these other major Best Buy, right? All these other major companies that are investing millions of dollars in this area because they know that the population is pouring and there's opportunity. This is all about preparation. They know that the season of preparation is going to meet opportunity. And that's where we start to see wealth being created on an unreal and unbelievable level. You've also got this gentleman here that doesn't need any introduction, really. I mean, Mr. Warren Buffett, he is widely recognized as one of the most astute investors. He's accredited in every way. I mean, you look at his investing career and what he's done, it's been amazing. Well, he's got $2.5 billion of his own money that he's put into a solar project in this area. So have you guys ever listened to or read his books or his autobiography? He's got a set of rules that he uses as he looks at a deal to invest in. And one of his rules are what? You guys probably know it. I'll wait a couple of seconds. I see it popping in here. Right? Don't lose money. And what is rule number 2? Refer back to rule number 1. So his goal when he's purchasing and investing money is not to lose money. And he's got a set of, what does it look like from an indicator point of view? I mean, he looks at a lot of things. So if he's putting $2.5 billion, that's with a B, he's got some certainty here, as well as Mr. Warren Buffett. He spent $230 million in an the same gentleman. I said it twice there, but he's also spent $230 million on the acquisition of a 10% stake in a company called BYD. They are an electric bus manufacturing system that is designed, again, this is going to be the green energy capital of the world. They are really, they're being very specific and strategic in their build outs because they know organically a lot of the electric vehicle is going to overtake in this area. And that's their goal here. You've got the Kaiser High Desert Regional Health Care Center. They were awarded, this is a mouthful, it's LEED. That's what the acronym stands for. And it's the Leadership, Energy, and Environmental Design. That means that they're incentivizing a lot of these companies with tax credits to be energy efficient, to where they're using the green energy to power these facilities instead of using, other alternative sources of energy. Well, that's really where the Kaiser Permanente facility got the idea for a lot of the mechanics, a lot of the harnessing, the natural energy harnessing technology that they've got at the top there. They borrowed that idea from them. You've also got the Transit Village Center here that was built. It's already been erected and filled. But guys, I want to put our business hats on for a minute, right? I want to slow it down here, and I just want you guys to think of put your business hat on and kind of think with me. If you had an idea, right? Let's just assume you've got the money, you've got the resources, and you know that there's a need for homes, right? There's a need for people to live in an area, and you get all the blueprints together. You meet with the architect, and you get all the designs together, and you go to the local municipality, and you present the idea, the building structure, the infrastructure, and they say, "Hey, green light, let's go." You put the marketing plan together. Of course, you send the marketing plan out in advance. You start marketing all these facilities, or I guess the apartments, and it's sold within 72 hours of you putting it out to market. Do you think you'd take that idea and duplicate it again? Of course you would, right? It's just good business. If you know that project sold out within 72 hours, you haven't even, cleared the area, you haven't even done, you haven't even started any of the work, you're going to duplicate that process and you're going to create a phase two. Well, not only did they do a phase two, but this project was sold within 24 hours instead of 72 hours. That means that these are highly desirable areas because everybody wants to live in something that's new, that's got, all the amenities. Isn't it just awful? I mean, I remember in college, I had to live in a couple of questionable areas, right? And you go into the apartment and it's like, the apartment's not only is it just dilapidated and broken down, you can see water damage, you can, the faucet is dripping, and it's just like, man, it's horrible. That's where a lot of these old, apartment buildings, that's just unfortunately what they look like in these major populated areas. And if you can go somewhere else and telecommute and have this gorgeous facility, you're going to live there, right? You're going to have this gorgeous apartment. Well, let's talk about transit, because that's incredibly important as well, being able to get around. And for my friends that have had the pleasure of being outside the country, you know that our transit system is in the Stone Age. It's kind of embarrassing. I mean, if you go to like the Asian continents, if you make your way out to Europe, they've got bullet trains and they've had them for years, right? They've tens of, I don't know if 100 years yet, but they've had them for a number of years. And we're finally getting a transit system on the West Coast that we can be proud of. It's a 230-mile route with planned stops throughout the California area. But you can also see that the major stop here is in Palmdale. Do you guys also notice this little blue line here? It's going to connect to where? Las Vegas, the City of Lights, the place that we're going to be in 2 short weeks. Why? So you can see that we've got a both states that are highly incentivized to make this not only the work, but to make it a reality. And the project officials, they've confirmed that they will begin to build. Now, this needs to be updated. It's already been built. They've got Richard Branson that's taken his own personal money along with investors, and he's got personal interest in making sure that this not only gets built, but it gets done timely, right? That's the word. That's kind of the critical word here is timely. Why am I impressed that Mr. Richard Branson is involved with this? Because they call him Mr. Midas. And what does that mean? You guys have all heard the tales that everything that Mr. Midas touched turned to gold. He's got an illustrious career. He's got a number of companies that have just, served him quite well. He's a billionaire, right? He's got Virgin Mobile, Virgin Air, Virgin Galactic, right? He's a competitor for Mr. Elon Musk. He wants to send us into space, and he's got an incredible, an incredible company to do that. Well, Brightline, they've already secured approvals. The only thing that has held up some of the other expansion areas has been California, right? If they're going to decide if they're going to put their own money on the table or if they're going to leave that opportunity for other outside investors, right? So this is something to where I'm excited about it, as I bought my own personal parcel with my family, and I recommended this to family members and other investors as well. This was something that really caught my eye because there's nowhere else in the country that this is happening. Right? It's not like this is happening in Arizona, unfortunately. I wish it was. I wish that we had a transit system coming to Arizona. That's where I'm from, Scottsdale, Arizona, right? It's just, and it's not a bad area. It's just they're not being innovative. This is something that's outside the norm that is very attractive. which is going to bring a lot of attention and eyeballs to an area that's incredible. You've also got the military that's in this area. You've got Northrop. They've got 100 long-range bombers that they've been building over the last decade. That means they created 6,000 plus new aerospace jobs in the Palmdale and Lancaster area. When you're building bombers, is that highly specialized? I mean, it's not like you can just take a mechanic off the side of the road and have them build a a specialized aeronautical unit. It's a highly specialized required skill, which means when you've got highly specialized jobs, it's kind of like the Field of Dreams. Do you guys remember that video or that movie rather? What was the saying there? That if you build it, they will come. If you have highly specialized opportunities, people are going to gravitate towards the opportunity, which if you've got, high income earners, naturally there's going to be expansion and development that's going to pour over and happen. You've got NASA, you've got the Air Force and the Navy. They're all redesigning these major weapon systems areas to have significant facilities in this area. You've got Amazon. They recently closed on 1 million square foot facility in this area, right? And if you've ever been in this area, you know that like Northrop, they've got a huge facility, but they're expanding as well. They've got like all these pods that they've had to airlift in to support their working force because they have so many orders to fulfill. They're trying to expand at the same time, and in order for them to kind of fulfill the short-term need, right, they've got to have these pods. So again, it's growth. It's the 2028 Olympics are coming to LA. Guys, I love the Olympics. You guys love the Olympics? It's one of those events to where you can see the best of the best compete on the world stage. I mean, you've got people from all over the world that have spent their entire life becoming a master at one thing, whether that is just a number of things, right? It's from ice skating to just to a number of things, and we get to watch people just be the best at their craft. Now, what happens when the Olympics comes to an area? If you guys ever studied and looked at expansion or in growth, what happens when the Olympics come? Well, I remember, I told you I was from Utah. And specifically, I remember when the Olympics came to Salt Lake City, Utah. It was like the biggest thing. Utah is never on the map. Nobody even recognizes Utah. And then finally, they had the Olympics that were there. Well, I also remember that they were talking about how Utah, Salt Lake City specifically, was going to file for bankruptcy. And this was only a couple of years before the Olympics was coming in. Well, somebody was smart enough and had the foresight to say, hey, why don't you hang on a little bit, right? We've got the Olympics coming. And here's statistically what happens. Well, after the Olympics came and went, do you know what happened to that area? It exploded. And not only did it explode, but it became the #1 growing area for a number of years. It was almost 4 or 5 years after the Olympics left. The #1 growing area in the entire U.S. for a number of years. That's exactly what's going to happen in this area. Now, there's already a lot of growth happening, but what happens is when you have a lot of eyeballs in an area, people tend to stand, right? They buy and consume. That's just naturally what happens. So when people see that, hey, there's this area that's outside of Los Angeles that's a little bit more affordable, maybe I should consider buying a second home or a third home here. Right? That's just, ultimately what happens. I love the Olympics. We've got KB Homes. It's an energy efficient home that I wanted to share with you guys. The reason why I bring this up is because it's one of those homes that's really, from a technology perspective, it's incredible. Have you guys heard of photovoltaic roofing panels? It's kind of a weird word for just saying solar panels, right? But they're aesthetically pleasing. I love solar as much as the next person. But what's the problem with solar is it's kind of an eyesore. Nobody says, hey, I love that home with solar on top of it, right? You like the savings, but aesthetically, it's not the most pleasing to the eye. Well, now they've innovated a lot of those solar panels to where they've got, again, they look like regular tiles, and they capture and they help with that green energy captivation. And each home is estimated to save at least $4,452 in energy savings and water savings annually. They've also got a purple pipe water reclamation system that reharnesses and uses a lot of the water that gets used in these properties. So the estimated $4,000 a month, that's how much in savings? That's roughly $400 a month that you can now use for something else, whether that's investing in your PRA or saving up money in something different. It allows for somebody to expand. Did you guys know that most people, when they file bankruptcy, it's over a $300 to $500 cash flow discrepancy on a monthly basis? Meaning that they're cash flow negative $300 to $400 to $500 on a monthly basis. Well, if they've got this energy savings, right, it helps eliminate a lot of that issue. So this nation's largest metropolitan planning organization has estimated that LA County, they're going to need to build roughly 180,000 more housing units between 2014 and 2021. Now, the reason why this number still says 2021 is because this hasn't been updated due to COVID. But they're still building 180,000 of these units. They're pretty close to being completed. So when we look at the meat and potatoes of this conversation, we had an independent study that was done in excess of over 9,000 properties that were bought and sold. This was over a 17-year period. You guys remember 17 years ago? Well, there was 2007. Notoriously one of the worst times to be a real estate investor in the history of our country. It was a very challenging time. And even with that being the most challenging time, have you guys seen the results? The average property annual appreciation rate was 24%, and the average hold period was 3.7 years. Now, I want to be very clear. We build expectations for you to hold on to these properties for no less than 7 to 10 years. But if we look at the stats, right, most people are selling them close to 4 years. And their annual average property annual appreciation rate is north of 24%. But what if you only got half of that? Right? Because that's a big number. Sometimes that's a little bit too much for people. What if you didn't get 24 and you got 12? Would you be happy with 12? Because I know that there's property owners. I mean, go and look at the testimonial page. I mean, we've seen property owners that have had well north of 36+% appreciation rates in one single year. That's an incredible number. Now, this is not a guarantee, but past performance is not an indicator of future results. But what if you only got half of that? Would you be excited about it? It would be an incredible number. Guys, land banking is right for those that are looking for a long-term and stable investment. Land is not immune to the laws of economics. It's not, but it tends to weather the storms much more efficiently than maybe some more traditional outlets. Money in the market. How do you make money doing anything? It's very simple, isn't it? You buy low and then you sell high. Well, is it now the right time to sell maybe some money that you've had in the market? Do you feel like it's at an all-time high? Maybe that's a decision for you. Maybe give us a call and we can walk you through that. Buying low and selling high is how you make money in anything. Wanting an investment that you can understand. Land is very simple, right? You don't have a prospectus or a rule book that it looks like it should be the version 2 of the Bible. Because that's what a lot of those mutual funds, those rule books look like. They're massive and they're very difficult to understand. We'll take a portion of the money that you've saved over the last couple of years and secure it in something that is tangible, that can't just grow legs and walk away from you. Needing peace of mind about retirement, tired of worrying about economic volatility. How about that one? It's like one day the country's doing well, the next day it's like, well, we're in a recession, right? So you want to make sure that you have your assets properly diversified. Do you have real estate inside of your portfolio? Did you know that you could use 401k dollars, retirement dollars, to purchase land? Did you know that you can use self-directed IRAs, retirement accounts to buy and purchase land? Most people didn't know that. It's all about owning real estate without ever having to write a check. That's pretty incredible, isn't it? Where you're holding $40,000 or more in a qualified account, portfolio account, or cash. We talked about that. Maybe you're worried about your estate and how it'll be distributed. This is, I recently helped an individual that's a little bit later in life purchase some land, and his number one worry was what happens when I die. Right? My kids, they don't have good spending habits, unfortunately. I've done my best in teaching them on how to, make sure that they're sustainable from a financial perspective. But ultimately, it just, it is what it is. Our kids, they either learn or they don't. And, he wants to make sure that this money is going to be distributed to the generation beyond them. Well, it's, if he's got 10, 12 years to allow this money to continue to accumulate and grow based on, current projections, and then somebody buys it and it goes to the kid or whomever he designated, right? It's an incredible program to make sure that people, the ones that we love most, don't burn through their inheritance. We've done this a number of times. So how can you land a bank too? Again, we talked about cash. There's retirement accounts, traditional IRAs or self-directed IRAs, 401ks, simples, other funding sources, 1031 exchanges for my friends that are selling real estate currently. I know there's a number of you guys that are selling some rental units that you bought a number of years, and you're looking to redirect some of that taxable income. You can 1031 exchange it into land. It's been a beautiful process, and it's helped a ton of people out. Well, guys, at the end of this, have you guys ever said, if I had known then what I know now, life would be incredibly different today? We've all said that a number of times. My goal here today is to give you information that you can act on. Because I don't know about you, if you thought something to be true and ultimately it wasn't, how soon would you want to know? Because most people, most 401k companies, most insurance reps, they're not talking about how you can use that 401k money, those retirement accounts, and you can take a portion of that and secure it in real estate. They're talking about, hey, you need to buy more mutual funds. You need to have more money in the market. Well, statistically, that's not the way to do it. The math doesn't support it. There's a reason why they talk about diversity. And the wealthiest people on the planet have a number of investments. They've got non-correlated assets, meaning that they're not connected to them. And if one asset class is not performing, well, they've got an asset class that is, because it's not correlated, right? So guys, where are you going to be in the next 10 years? Dreams don't work unless you do, right? It's all about taking action, taking information and sharing it with others. We got to be that conversation for reason. Just because we've done things in the past doesn't mean that we have to do that in the future. My father, what his father did for retirement is not going to be what he does for retirement. There's a number of things that are incredibly different. Technology is so different. I remember talking to my grandfather on his deathbed, and he's sharing all these stories, and he's going through the cycles of being, the farmhand to being a farm owner, et cetera. And he talked about how when he first started, everybody used horses, right? They tilled the ground with horses, and then it turned into what? Tractors. Right, they had mechanized tractors, and the need for horses kind of started to go by the wayside. And then it wasn't just about how having operated like they ended up having remote controlled vehicles that could now till the ground. It's just things eventually change, and you have to adapt and overcome. Preparation meeting opportunity. When you're prepared for an opportunity, you get to seize on it. When you're reactive, what happens? You only get access to, it eliminates choices. You only have access to what's in front of you. That's what we wanted to share with you today. Guys, I do apologize for a little bit of the technical errors, but you can see I'm incredibly passionate about this. If you've got questions on whether this is a good fit for you, make sure that you reach out to us. Make sure that you're doing the things that are going to serve what you want to do long term. We find very often that people are placing money in things that don't even align with their belief systems, but they're putting money there because somebody told them that that's just what you're supposed to do. But do you want their lifestyle, or do you want a lifestyle of somebody that, is living abundantly? And the people that are living abundantly are doing things a little bit different than the everyday average people. Guys, proximity matters. And that's what we're here with, that's where I'm passionate in sharing this here with you today. And guys, don't wait to buy land and wait. If the promise is clear and the price is easy, dream big, my friends. Aim high, leave free, and we'll see you at the top.
Wow, Mr. Burner, you have said a mouthful, and I tell you what, I'm already looking at my current situation to see how I am positioning myself to be able to get a piece of that land. Listen, guys, get back to the individual that shared this with you. Let them know that you're ready to get partnered and get your exclusive invitation only MWR membership, which will give you everything you need to increase, create, and multiply and protect your cash flow. Remember, check out our testimonials at MWRfinancialresults.com, MWRfinancialresults.com, where you'll be able to see thousands of testimonies, just like what Mr. Burner just mentioned. See some of our people who already have land and how this has benefited their family. So you certainly want to check this out and share the good news. Mr. Byrne, it's been great. We look forward to seeing you in Vegas. Please be sure to be on this platform next Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, where we'll be able to bring you yet another exciting part of our mission. And if you don't come from a rich family, be sure a rich family comes through you. With that being said, guys, have a great evening.